FTR, formerly known as the Revival in the WWE, could be in line to make a big shock return to the WWE in the coming months, particularly around WrestleMania time. Let's look at the landscape, talk about the information here, and exactly where we are at this point in time. So over the last few months, Triple H has been in charge of creative as the chief content officer in the WWE. This has changed the game, if you'll forgive the pun, over in the WWE and also in AEW. AEW, especially around the time of the arrival of CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, they were becoming the big player in town. All the huge moments that everyone was talking about were happening in AEW, and one of the earliest big moments was the arrival of FTR, formerly the Revival, in AEW. Things, however, have changed. Firstly, the arrival of Triple H and the removal of Vince McMahon in there, and the subsequent issues with CM Punk over in AEW independently. Now, AEW do seem to have steadied the ship quite well, particularly with the signing of Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho to new deals, but there are still a number of talents there who aren't necessarily happy with their lot in life. When it comes to FTR, this of course being Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, the former Revival members are very much on Triple H's list. Triple H does have a list of talents that he either has been or will be in contact with about a potential return to the company. This is why we've seen so many returns. The AEW contracts for FTR are set to expire before WrestleMania. So the news is, this is what I'm being told, the contracts are set to expire before WrestleMania. This naturally creates a certain possibility that the WWE are keen to exploit if able to. Now, the Revival are still very much under AEW contract, and as such they are FTR, but at the same time they are working with other companies at the same time. Sorry for the double at the same time there. I was at Royal Quest 2, the New Japan show, which featured as a main event of the first night FTR versus Aussie Open in a match rated 5 stars by Dave Meltzer. An incredible match. I do recommend anyone watch it who can. Immediately after the match, on the microphone putting over their vanquished opponents, Dax Harwood called out Tony Khan for not using them effectively in AEW. At the time, FTR were not being used effectively to the point that they were hardly being used. A large part of this call out was that there is an ongoing argument backstage as regards FTR and AEW for their use, because the grass could potentially be greener elsewhere. Sources inside AEW are quite clear. This is not a unique experience. This is the case where a lot of things have stacked up to create a great frustration in FTR. They are believed to be unhappy with their booking, and sources in the locker room have made it clear that there are a number of backstage issues at the moment that FTR are experiencing, as well as of course those that a number of others have experienced, such as the elite of All Elite Wrestling recently. Now, FTR have been promised improvements to their booking, and a new contract is under negotiations to try to tie them down so that they aren't able to make any deals with any other companies. Naturally, it would be contact tampering if they were contacted at this point with a new offer, and that has not happened. But sources do indicate that Triple H has been in contact in some form to let FTR know that they are interested. There is an additional difficulty when it comes to AEW contracts at the moment, and that, to be blunt, is the CM Punk situation. CM Punk at the moment is believed to be negotiating a 7-figure buyout from his contract. CM Punk signed earlier this year, earlier this year it was, to a 3-year contract. And that 3-year contract was for $3 million, so $1 million per year. Thus, CM Punk is entitled, in his belief, to the remainder of what he would have been paid over the course of that contract, and that is a buyout that is currently being negotiated. The amount of money there could potentially mean less money available for new contracts for other wrestlers. This is one of the main reasons we've seen so many contracts not being renewed recently. Now, FTR are a top target for the WWE at this moment in time, and a WrestleMania return, or re-debut as it were, is possible given the time frame that we are looking at for these contracts. The number one target was Bray Wyatt, but that signing has now been made, meaning that they are able to focus on other talent such as the Revival. We've seen Emma return recently, Johnny Gargano, Hit Row. We have seen a lot of returns, which have in many ways paved the way for the more tricky ones, the people who are under contract elsewhere, for those negotiations to take place. To be clear, no official contract is being discussed at this point in time between FTR and the WWE. No formal pitch has been made to the Revival. That is per sources within the WWE. If they were to return, if the offer were to be made, they would be returning under the name The Revival. And there is a lot of excitement in the creative area about the idea of a renewed rivalry between The Revival and DIY. Confidence right now between talent and Triple H, Chief Content Officer, is at an all-time high. The fact that Vince McMahon has left the company has meant that a lot of wrestlers who previously thought the grass was greener elsewhere are starting to look in the other direction, and Triple H being so amenable to conversation has been very much welcomed by a lot of different individuals. There are a lot of different names on the list of people that the WWE are interested in. This includes, for example, I've mentioned AOP previously. There are a lot of people that haven't currently signed or are currently available that potentially offers have been made to, but nothing has been made official as of yet. If you'd like more information on that, I'll pop that video just up on the show right now so that you can find out more. In the meantime though, click subscribe, make sure to be following for more information as it comes.